And we're back, everybody. Today we're going to be looking at Chapter 5, Section 7. We're actually going to be looking at two subjects today, exponential and quadratic functions. And I'm going to split this video into two parts. This first video will be exponential, and the second video will be quadratic functions. So we're looking at exponential functions today. Very quickly, an exponential function is of the form, or looks like, f of n equals a times b to the nth power. Now notice that the input n value is the exponent on the b. Now a and b can just be variables or just numbers, okay? This will become very obvious when we look at this example here. So I've created a table. My in values are 0 through 4. And if you look at the out values, the f of n values, they go 4, 6, 9, 13.5, and 20.25. Well, there's nothing consistent being added. There's nothing consistent being divided or anything like that. Instead, what we have is a consistent multiplication. If you look at this, and if you take 4 and multiply it by 1.5, you get 6. And if you take 6 and multiply it by 1.5, you get 9. And that is what is consistent here, is that we are consistently multiplying by 1.5 each time to get to the next value. And if you're looking at the numbers ever and you don't know what that ratio might be, just simply take one number and divide it by the one before it. And you'll see 6 divided by 4 is 1.5. 9 divided by 6 is 1.5. So that's how you can determine what the ratio is if you don't see it off the top of your head. Now, let's look at this a little bit. We have 4 here, and 4 is equivalent to 4 times 1, right? We can all agree 4 times 1 is 4. But what I want you to do is think of this as 4 times 1.5 to the 0 power. Now we know anything to the 0 power is 1. So 1.5 to the 0 power is 1, and 1 times 4 is 4. We move to the next one, 6. And the way we get that is we take 4 times 1.5 to get to 6. So this would be 4 times 1.5. Well, I'm going to rewrite this as 4 times 1.5 to the first power. And then I'm going to move on to the next one. I've got 4 times 1.5 times 1.5. Well, now look at that. See, I started with the 4, and then I went times 1.5 to get 6, and then times 1.5 to get to 9. Well, I've got two 1.5s in multiplication, so I can write this as 4 times 1.5 to the second. And we'll look at the next one the same way. 4 times 1.5 times 1.5 times 1.5, because there's 4 times 1.5 to 6 times 1.5 to 9 times 1.5 to 13.5. And this becomes 4 times 1.5 to the third. Now let's make a connection. Notice that the exponent here is equivalent to the in value. That's 0, that's 0. That's 1, that's 1. Here's a 2, there's a 2. Here's a 3, here's a 3. And we'd get the same thing if I did the 4 here. Okay. Now, the exponent is the n value. The exponent is the n value. Okay, we've got to keep that in mind. All right, so now we're going to take this information and put it into that equation, all right? We have f of n equals a. Now, where do we find a? A is that first number when n equals 0, f of n equals a. Okay, so you're going to grab that. That's your a value right there. And you're going to bring it in, and you're going to put it right there. Okay? Oh, you can't even see that. Sorry. There. F of n equals, let's put this above it. F of n equals a times b to the nth. Okay, so a is 4 because that happens when the n or first initial value is 0. Okay, right there. And then b is, look right up here. You've got it right here. There it is, the 1.5s. So 1.5 to the nth power. And there's your equation. That is an equation for this table in exponential form. Okay? So let's recap. When n equals 0 or x, whatever variable we're using, equals 0, the output value is my a. The ratio that we are multiplying is my b, and we raise it to whether it's x or n or whatever variable that is. And that's how we do these. Let's take a look at another one. So this is apparently example coyote. And we're going to look at this and see what the ratio is each time. Now, what I've done ahead of time is I've taken a calculator and I've gone 3.6 divided by 3, and I got 1.2. And if you don't trust me, pause the video and check that. Take 4.32, divide it by 3.6, and you get 1.2. So we're multiplying each time by 1.2. All right? So there's x equals 0. So 3, that is 3 equals my a value, okay? This, that's my b value. So I can write the function f of x equals a times b to the x. So f of x equals 3 times 1.2 to the x value. All right, I hope it's not confusing you that in this problem I used n and in this problem I used x. Doesn't matter, okay? So hopefully that'll give you enough to get started on exponential functions. Now, in the next video, we're going to be doing quadratic functions.